Hi friends, I hope everyone is doing well. It's Winnie here in case you're new to my channel. I have one question to ask. Is there a proverb that you are told as a child that still lives with you today? Or was there a quotation that you loved until today? Or probably it didn't mean anything then, but it means a lot today. I'll tell you mine. When we were young girls, I remember one day we were walking from the university to a hostel. And so we were admiring the beautiful buildings. And we were talking about how rich we're going to become when we become old and all this. And then the lady I was there was a lady that was slightly older than us. Not slightly actually, because you could see that she was much better than us. Not to say that old people are better than young people, but you could see that her thinking was way ahead. So on the way, she says that my grandmother has this saying that she always says, and don't be surprised that the person who started this building, it's now in different names. And I'm confused, like, what is she talking about? Anyway, so the quotation or the proverb, it's an old Scottish proverb. It says that shirts lives to shirts lives in 3 generations. And basically what that means is this. The father buys, the son builds, the grandson sells, the great-grandchild begs. I feel like saying God forbid. I know. So I read a book and it was about family business. But what I loved about this book is that the family business incorporates values. When we give out buildings and then after that we are gone, these buildings change hands into other families that have built values. If we don't have a value system in our homes, it doesn't matter how much wealth you're going to leave behind. Within the next 3rd generation, that is if it survives to reach the third, because some say even within the 2nd generation, everything is gone and you, like the generation after, is begging. They're trying to start all over again. What I learned from the different readings was that values are caught, not taught. Values are passed on intentionally. There was this kid who got on a bike and asked the guy who was riding, definitely, the kid is 17 years old, and there's this adult that is has a bicycle, and so the kid says, oh, I can pay for your services if you drop me off. The guy says, okay, you pay me, then we go. They go, and before they reach home, the kid says, I need to go order my father's, I think it was a cake or something, I don't remember. I need to go order something. Can you just wait for me here? And the adult says, yes, on one condition, pay me before you go. The kid innocently pays and says, oh yeah, I'll commit. This is my commitment. I'm coming back. The kid goes to the restaurant, does whatever he does, quickly comes back, and the guy is gone. And then recently, I was watching this YouTuber. It's a white guy with a Cameroonian woman. They now have 5 children who moved from the US to Africa. And so they reach in this other country that I'm not going to be mentioning. They buy a huge land. Like they invest in a lot of dollars so that they can do big farming. However, later they're told you bought air, like AIR, which means it's not genuine. Probably the land belongs to someone else or something. And in this country, it has become like so normal. Like the moral compass is lost, and you can see it in everything that is done, from close relatives to far distant friends. You see that everyone is trying to cheat the other in all aspects. This comes back to parents. What are we doing to pass on values? So I was reading this book that says that values should be passed on the same way we pass on wealth. Like your family wealth includes your family values. If values are caught and not taught, it means that parents need to be role models. If you're a parent to X, you're a driver to Y, and you are manipulating the children that you are driving, what are you showing those kids? Today, the morals are gone, and we have accepted it. It's high time parents start to think of. I was actually reading something that says that human capital should be given the same value that we give to financial capital. Otherwise, it's going to go 3 generations. That is, if it really lasts long. And then in your bloodline, there's going to be a beggar, a person who can't do anything, who is going to live on zero income, begging from whoever has. For us to be able to pass on values, we need to take off our eyes from us to the next generation. What really matters after you have left? Do your children know? Let them know. I think in one video I told you about the first lady of the US has this book, and she talks about her 3 sons. I hope they're 3, if I remember so well, that would go out and ask, what time are you coming in? And they say, it's 10 p.m. and this is a Biden word. Like, if they say that this is a Biden word, it means it is that. Like, believe us, nothing is going to be different from what we are telling you. And those kids grow up with those moral values. What are the moral values that your children have grown up seeing in your home? Do you need to put them on paper? Do you need to make it formal or informal by sitting them down and telling them that this is actually what will matter to me long after I've left? Like, ask yourself, do your children know? What is that habit that you need to break, you need to work on, so as to recreate moral values that could be broken in your family? Start now. Even if it means addressing it, maybe I'm talking about it like alcohol, anything, do it just for the next generation. You know, I was reading that when parents pass on finances, pass on all these good things, but they don't pass on values, it doesn't really help the generations that comes after, because it goes to the dogs. So, what is that proverb that still lives with you? I just told you my proverb. Short sleeves to short sleeves, 3 generations after. Einstein said that if you want to make your children bright, tell them stories. Up to now, I am still fascinated by the stories I read from books. So I want to come back to one thing that I always tell you. Read, introduce stories to your children. Your children today are being parented by different people. Our families are all like scattered. If you don't have that one person that is passing on those moral stories, then at least introduce books. Lead a life that is consistent. If you have a life that is consistent with your values, then you're sure you are actually assured of a happy life. Double standards confuse our children. And remember that values are not just beliefs. Like, what are your values? You may have to make it formal, informal, and put them on paper. So be purposeful, plan, and educate. That is one way that we're going to pass on values. Remove toxic people whenever you can from your child's life. But if you can't, then at least talk about it. So that was the quotation that I still remember, that I still think about, that helps me talk about values with my children. What quotation do you know? Do you remember? Do you have? What story were you told that lives with you? If you really think that this was a great thing, please tell it to your children, and let's pray that our children are going to tell it to their own children. And after you have done all that, pray for the next generation. Don't take it for granted. After you have parented, pray. After you have prayed, parent. Thank you so much for watching this parenting video. Share it, like it, subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comment section. It would be so nice to hear those words that still live with you. Either they were from your mama, your dad, your grand, or it's something that is always told in your family lineage, like you have heard it over and over again. Please let me know which one, and let us take it up from the comment section. Thank you so much. I wish you a good week. Bye from us here at Parenting with Winnie.